Meditation Master JinBodhi's Dharma teachings, 4 Immeasurables. Meditation makes us relaxed, happy and healthier.
像身体啊变得轻松，愉快，或者疾病减轻，
Helps ease pain and gives comfort.
感受不到痛苦了，或者是感受身体呢很舒服。
It makes our skin smoother.
皮肤呢比较光滑。
It makes us joyful, peaceful and smarter.
是情绪呢也是比较相对比较喜悦，或者是平静，或者是好像这个大脑呢也有点比较好用了。
All these arise naturally in our meditation practice.
禅修的过程里，应该产生的一些自然的现象。
Nothing special. Keep practicing and you'll experience them. Since ancient times,
到现在，
all meditators have experienced them. Next, I'll explain physical and mental experiences.
我们身体到精神的一些体验。我不按顺序啊，都是
From
按我小时
meditation
候所知
practice
道
in
的
my youth,
这些感觉给大家再提醒。
the state of light and calm
昨天我们讲
I
的
mentioned
清安
yesterday
这个词
is
非
light
常
and
轻
carefree.
盈自在，
Our
是我们
mental
整个
pressures
精
have
神
inexplicably
当中的压力
disappeared.
那个沉重的负担莫名其妙的没有了。
The
当然这个没有
disappearance includes
是
2
包括两
cases.
种现象没有的。
First,
一
with
种没有
practice and received
就是
blessing,
通过修炼或者得到法力的加持之后，
our
这个烦恼没
afflictions
有，
disappear. It's
就是
unimaginable.
像不可思议的这个现象。
Second,
第
it
二种
occurs
呢，
after you understand
是
truth.
明白道理之后，
Like
尤
in
其是昨天
yesterday's
那堂
teaching,
课，
I
我就
always
一直在
stressed
强
seeing
调
through
我们
things,
对事物的辨别，
attachment or dislike.
或者是我是讨厌的。当这两种情绪反应产生之后，
Might be
其实
unreliable
也许我们
information we attach to.
是当时特别在乎了、执着了一个错误的讯息。
Say, a
既然有
guy
人赌
gambled
博，
and won
赢
$20
了
million.
2000
Of
那么
course
他
he'd
当
be
然欢
happy.
喜啊，
His
朋友们都
friends
赞美
might
啊，
praise him, and he'd feel
他
lucky.
自己觉得好运气啊，老
His
婆也
wife
说是
claimed
他
she
带来的
attracted the
福气啊。
fortune.
但是因为
However,
这个
this
所谓看
so-called
起来是一个
fortune
发财的好事，就
led
引
to
发
his
了
big
后来更大
subsequent
的债务
debt.
产生。
Or
还有
say,
人
many
就是结
Chinese
婚
girls
去
want to get
就
married.
是在我们华人，这个姑娘要嫁人，要找一个男人，要结婚的话，
All
通常都
prefer a
是
rich
尽量
man.
找富贵一点的，对吧？
No
谁都不
one
想
wants to
嫁一
marry a
个
beggar.
街头的乞丐当丈夫，对不对？
Right. All
都想
focus more on his
我在
wealth
嫁
before
他之前的
marriage
时候，他已经家庭比较富有，
than
这
his
个人长得帅不
appearance.
帅都可以不考虑。
Money is more
只要有钱的话就可以。
important.
啊，
Let's put aside
当然
whether
不
it's
管说
right
这
or
个
wrong.
行为是不是正确，
At
至
least
少也
they
是
are
成
afraid of
好事
poverty,
心里害怕呀，
of scarcity and lack of food.
害怕贫穷啊。
However, there are many such stories. In China, India, or the West,
还是印度的故事，
in
有多
which
少
a
人
lady
从这个姑
married a
娘
rich
嫁了这个
man,
富人，
and
嫁
he
过去之后
gradually went
这个富人
bankrupt.
开始慢慢破产。
Eventually, they became paupers. They could do nothing. It was fate. He bought the wrong stocks. In contrast, beautiful girls have married penniless young men.
一个穷小伙子，
This is true of a few female disciples,
同修之中有我认识的就有好几位，
but those poor
现在
men are
是
very wealthy
非常
now.
富有，飞黄腾达。
The
那么当
girls who
年
married
这
them
个
were
嫁人的
beautiful.
人，我们的女弟子天生都丽质天生都很漂亮。
Living in
生活
cities
在
with
城市里，
government official
父亲
fathers,
是官员，
they were
甚至
the
是
only
唯一
child
的
in their
独生女。
family. But
结
they
果他
married
看
poor
上的小伙
guys.
子多惨呐！
Mountain villagers who'd just come to the city. They did ordinary jobs for the lowest wages. I don't know whether it's the girl's blessing or she's charmed. Such an urban beauty married a poor country boy. But after their marriage, the young man became rich and prosperous. Today he's extremely rich. So, the initial situation and subsequent result of many things can differ dramatically. At their wedding, the girl's family was ashamed, too embarrassed to invite friends. So her wedding became secret. Secret weddings are named nosely. Wedding travels in China. It means the family is ashamed to invite friends and relatives to the wedding, or disapproves of the spouse. Some families don't have a choice. The couple return with a baby from the wedding trip. Such speed and efficiency. Very productive, indeed, too eager. Prior to the wedding, her family must have pressured her a lot. Someone might even threaten her with a knife and condemn, shame on you. You're a grown-up now, control yourself. We have introduced many good guys to you. Each could make us proud of you. But you choose to marry such a poor guy. Though we can still support you. We're so embarrassed and without dignity. Often, for a few or even 10 years. The parents of the bride would refuse to acknowledge this son-in-law. Such stories are common. Some of you might have the same sad experience, right? Only after the son-in-law becomes rich will the in-laws be proud of him. The initial agony over their marriage differs from the happiness and pride arising from his later prosperity. So an initial judgment may be unreliable, a problem may be a blessing in disguise, or vice versa. Our mental liberation comes from wise judgment or wisdom that differ from street smarts. Quick response, good memory. And people-pleasing, like traders, are all street smarts, not wisdom. People-pleasers are smart people, not wise ones. Girls who married poor guys, that later became wealthy are wise. The key is that the blessed girls become wealthy ladies. It's fate, admirable. So we need wisdom when judging. How does wisdom impact our judgment? It's hard to say. In life, today's good happenings may be hidden troubles, or vice versa. The happy, relaxed feeling we have these days arises from our perception of matters. We don't know if it's right or not. Learn to go with the flow. At the end of yesterday's teachings, I mentioned go with the flow. It describes practitioners' high mental state. Such practitioners easily become one with their environment. The
既然这个环
environment
境干扰
affects
着
me.
我，
I
但是
also
我
affect it.
也会影响这个环境。
When
对
our
事物的
ability
这
to
种
perceive
辨别，当我
reaches a
们
certain
升华到
level,
一个程度的时候，这一点是特别重要的，就是我们的理性我们的理性。
our
就是
wise
所谓我
rationality
们真正的
arises.
智慧理性，
How
怎样
can we
才能
see
看
through to the
透
truth?
事物的真相，
To
让
have
自
the
己
best
一个
measure of
得到一
things?
个最好的把握呢？
As I
因为我刚
mentioned
才
just
讲过
now,
了，我们今天
today's
觉得
right
对
could
的，
be
也许是
wrong.
错的；今天
Today's
是
pain
痛
may
苦的，
be
也许是
happiness
未
in
来
the
的喜悦。
future.
那
How
这个
should we
事
measure
情，
it?
我们的同修开始怎么把握自己呢？
Or
难道
is
对
it
就是
right
错，
is
错就是对
wrong
吗？
and wrong is
这两
right?
个不
They
是
are
绝
not
对，
absolute, but
是
ambiguous.
很朦胧的。有的今
Sometimes
天的错，
today's
明天
wrong
还
is
是
still
错；
wrong tomorrow.
有的
Sometimes
今天的
today's
错，
wrong is
来日
tomorrow's
就是
right.
正确。
How can
那
we
我们怎么
know?
把握呢？怎
How
样
can
才
we
有这
have
种
such
智慧呢？
wisdom?
那
Through
只
the
有借
power
着
of
一个禅的力
meditation.
量，
We
要
must calm
清静下
down.
来。
Through the power of meditation, calm down. Then we gain infinite wisdom.
所以我们
Meditation
的
is divided
禅
into
法的
4
修行
stages or types.
我们前头我大约分析了有4个大阶段4种禅法。这4种
Generally,
禅
the
法呢，
purpose of all 4
这4种禅法宏观的总结起来，
is
就是消除
eliminating
我
all
们一
obstacles in
切
our
的
mind.
智力之中的那个障碍。
To the point of
到最
having
后
no
甚至
thought.
说我没有想法了，就
At
是
the
我们从开
beginning,
始
we
利
use our
用想
thought,
法，
or
就
our
是观想法，
visualization and our consciousness.
利用我们的意识。因为人
Humans
类
are
很聪
very
明
smart.
我
We
们对
accept
形
figures
象
or
的
deities
或者对神灵，或
from a
对某一
certain
个人
person or
和某
thing.
一个物，给他一个固定的一种认可。比如
Say,
说
deities are
神
helping
灵
people.
就是帮助人的，
Buddha
佛
is
陀一
surely
定
all
是大慈大悲
compassionate.
的。
We
所以我心中就
visualize
观
such a
想这
holy,
样一
great,
种
compassionate
神
deity.
圣而大慈大悲的，
When he helps
不
us
需要代价的
unconditionally,
来帮助我们的这样的神的时候，我
we
们
are
自然
naturally
就
grateful
怀
and
有一份
reverent.
恭敬之心。再
Then
加
we
以
still
观想，
visualize.
为什么
Why
观想呢？
visualize? In
意
our
念里
mind,
头，
there
我
are
只是
two
说
big
分2大类，
categories.
一
One
个
is
是
vague
有一
impression
种
or
朦
feeling.
胧的印象感觉，第
The
二种
other is
形
pictorial
象的
perception.
认识。
If
像
I
现在我
say
说
a
一
yellow
朵黄
flower,
色的花朵，
in
我
our
们脑子里
mind
就有了，
appears
是
a
不是？
yellow flower.
一个有颜色花朵大约什么样的，
We
自己
can
可以想
imagine
象。
it. Have you thought
耶
about
稣的
Jesus
像，
Christ's image?
你想过吗？
We all
佛
can
陀的像，
imagine Buddha's image.
我们都能想到吗？
These are the
这就
two
是我
ways of
们
memorizing
的
in
意
our
识之中
consciousness.
2种记忆方式啊。
We're
现在说
talking
到的
about
是
the
形
image's
象的
impression and
印
memory.
象和记忆。这个
Still
还不
not
清
clear
楚，
to
没有
you,
关系。
no
等
problem.
我们
Say
2个
two
见
people,
面之后，尤其在
Taiwanese,
台
meet
湾
each other.
和台湾人见了面，说：“哎，
Hi,
张先生
Mr.
你好，
Chong,
最
how are
近你还
you?
好吗？”
He'll
他的回
answer,
答
I'm
是
okay, not
还
bad.
好啦，还好啦。你肯
Surely
定
there
不是一
wasn't
个
an
形
image in
象
your
的印
mind.
象。你
When
听
you
到他
heard
的
the
答案的时
answer,
候，我
how
们是
can
怎
we
么样
perceive I'm
去得
okay?
到捕捉到他
What does
说
this
还
message
好了这个
mean?
信息是什么意思？这个
What
时候我
we
们捕捉
captured
到的
as a
是一
meaning,
种
not
意
an
思，
image.
是一个不是一种形象，而是一种意思而不是形象的。它
It
不像
differs
说
from a yellow
黄色
flower.
的花朵，耶
Images
稣的
of
形象，
Jesus and
佛的
Buddha
形
or a
象，
white horse.
或者一匹白马，
All
那个都
these
是
are
有形
images.
象的所以
So
我
our
们的
memory
记忆
has
方式
mainly
通
two
常
big
分2
sections.
个大的部分，一
One
个
is
是
an image.
形象的，
The
一个
other
是
is a
朦
vague
胧的
conceptual thing,
概念的东西，
but
而
not really
不是
pictorial.
绝对的形象。就是
Matters
说
exist in our
我
brain
们
in
对
vague
事物
concepts and
的
visual
存在我
thoughts.
们大脑之中的，通常是一个是朦胧概念，还有一种就是形象的思维。但
When
是
we
通过
meditate,
我
we
们
go
进
through
行
such a
禅修的时
process,
候，我们走是这样的程序，就是要
making
利
use of
用
an
我们大
image in
脑
our
之中
broader
第
thoughts.
一形象的印象概念，第二
Vague
个
images or
我们宏
concepts
观
without
的
images.
意念的概念是朦胧的图像，或者没有图像的概念。就把我
Taking
们
advantage of our
这个精神意
consciousness.
识利用起来， 比如我们观想大光明之中，
Visualize, we are the
天即是
sky,
我
the sky is me.
光芒、慈悲，
Radiance
这样
and
把它
compassion.
特殊的去观想，把
We
它
apply
应用起来
visualization to
来
benefit
利
our
于我们
health
的健康，利
and
于我们的
cultivate our
智慧。
wisdom. If
但
we
是在
repeat
我
such
们如果当不
visualization and
断重
practice
复的进行这样的观想和修行的时候，
over a
当时间
period of
很久
time
之
that is
后
not
这个
definite,
很久不一定多长哈，
some
有的
may
人可
take
能
7 days,
7
10
天、
days, or
10
even a
天
month.
或者1个月，
We'll
就自然地
naturally
进入了
enter
一
a
种
special visualization
从这种特殊的观想、观想、观想，最
and
后自己莫名其
inexplicably
妙
get
地
into a
跑
pure,
到了
calm state
清净的状态里。这种
where
清
there
净
is
已
no
经没有
illumination that we
我要观想
visualize
的光，
and
也没
no
有说我
awareness
在
of our
修炼的
practicing.
意识。
There are
即使
neither
没有形
images
象的
nor
东西，
consciousness
也
for
没有观想的意识，
visualization.
所以
We're
我
at
们
ease
感觉到
physically and
身
mentally.
心自在。
We
这种
reach a state of
清
purity, peace, comfort,
静
and joy.
安详、舒服、喜悦。
With such a
就
state,
到了这
if
种
you
状
keep
态。
practicing
那么在这种
correctly,
状态，我们如果再接着往下修，如果很正确的修的话，哈，可能
you
这
may
个需
really
要
need
是
my
需要我来指导
instruction.
的。
In the
再就
subsequent state,
在这个状态的过程之中，还
other
会发生
sensations could arise.
一些感觉，就
Heat,
是
cold, pain, soreness, numbness.
冷、痛、酸、麻、
Movement, jumpiness,
跳
slipperiness, and
啊
bitterness, that's about
滑
it.
和涩。这大约了。
If
再细分有
categorized in
32
detail, there are 32
细分
kinds.
32种，
roughly
粗分的话有
8.
8种。
We
这种
summarize
8
the
种
8
呢，我们
kinds
总结
as
为
8
叫8
sensations.
触
All
触觉
these could happen to us.
身体的感觉，这些感觉都会发生。
Then
但是慢慢
slowly
地我
we are
们就走
reaching
向
an
了一种
advanced level.
再超越了这种感觉。等
If we
再
keep
修下去之后，
practicing, these
这些感
sensations
觉
will
没有了。
disappear. Even the
修行的意识
awareness
也
of
没有了。
meditating is gone.
达
We've
到
entered a
更进
calmer state. What's
再
next?
接下来会怎么样呢？
Maybe
可能
many
很
will
失
be
望了。
disappointed.
因
To
为我们
meditate is
修
to be
禅
free
法
of life
最后达到的
afflictions.
是解脱，不被人生的烦恼所给约制我们。
So
再接下来就慢
gradually
慢地
we'll
变
come
成
to a desireless state.
无欲无求，没有欲望了。
A
因为
beautiful
美女过
lady
去总
used to
想
want
买
to
衣
buy
服
nice
买好看
clothes,
的衣服，
jewelry,
买
or
首饰，
high
买
heeled
高跟
shoes.
鞋。
In
其实你已经
fact,
很美
she
了。
was so beautiful
你看
that
什
she
么都是
looked
美女。
pretty whatever she
但是反
wore,
而
but
美
she
女
lacked
越是不自信，
confidence
越
and
不懂
didn't
得自己
believe
是
she
美
was
的，
beautiful,
总
so
想
she
靠衣服
always
来
dressed
锻炼自己。
herself
最
up
后
with
往往
nice
说，哎，
clothes. If
你
I
的衣
tell
服
you
挺好
your
看的，
outfit
就没
is
有证明你
beautiful,
很美。
instead of saying you're
这是最
beautiful,
痛
that
苦
may
的。
hurt
如
you
果
if
有
you're
头脑的
smart.
美女的话，我
So
们
when we
当
reach this
修
level,
到这个程度的时候，我
we
们就
start
开始
reducing
淡
such
化
external
外
desires
在
and
的
pursuits.
那种欲和求。求是
Desire
指
means
求
the
得呀
urge to get.
啊，
Even
甚
the
至我
desire
希
to
望
be
一个
loved
人
by
来爱
others
我，
lessens or is gone.
也开始清淡和没有了。
Our
我过
past
去总
desire
是
to
有
buy
一
nice
种
clothing
买漂亮衣服的欲望，现在
starts
开始淡
weakening
化
or
慢慢没有
fading.
了。
A
我
sick
总想给人
mentality
还有一种
exists which
病
causes
态，就是给
bragging
人吹
about
牛
one's
我多么
wealth.
富啊，其
In
实也是个
fact,
穷
the
光蛋
person has no money.
这种
Such
吹牛
bragging
的心理也没
mentality
有了，
also
老
disappears.
实了。
The meditator at
甚
this
至连
level
说
even
话
doesn't
的
want to talk,
想法也没有了，因为
because
他的
his
精神远远
spirituality
大
is
于
much
外在
greater
的
than
一
all
些行
external
为。
behavior.
所以
So
连
even
说
the
话
desire
表
to
达的
express
那个意
disappears.
念也开始没有了。不
His
是语言能
language
能退化，
ability
是
doesn't
不需要
degenerate,
多说。
there's just no need. Even
甚
the
至是
thought of
想觉
obtaining
悟的意念也
enlightenment
可能开
starts
始
to
清
lessen.
淡了一些。
We
尤其
call
是
this
这个
desire
部分就
leaving
是
samadhi.
叫做离欲禅定啊。离是
Leaving
离
is to
开
depart
欲
from
望
desire.
啊。
Some
离欲
also
禅
call
定
it the
也有人
realm
把它
of
称叫
form.
色界天。
Form
色界
realm
就是
means
物质，这是
materials
有
with
形，这
form
是
or
存在，
existence,
这是可以
something
看得
visible,
到、摸得
tangible,
到、
and
想得到的
desired.
东西。啊，因
Desire
为
is the
我
origin
们
of our
引
illness
起
and
我们的疾病
afflictions.
和烦恼的很多原因，是因为欲望。
Think about it, the single life is
本来单
nous.
身挺好的，非
But you
想
want
找
to
个
find a
伴侣。
partner.
从
Afflictions
此之后
arise
找
from
到
this
了，
desire.
找到了之后，也
From
就
the
是甚
moment
至
you
从你
think of
想找个
finding
伴侣的
one,
这一
you're
刻开
being
始烦恼，
afflicted.
总
You
想
want
找个
one but
合适
can't
的。
find a suitable one. When you are still
有的时
rational,
候，如果你还是有你的所谓的理智的时候，
your
谈一个
first date
让你
lets
失
you
望，
down,
谈
the
第二个
second,
第二
another
次失望，谈
disappointment,
到
the
第十个
10th, the
第
10th
十次失望。
disappointment.
哎
Just because
是
of
因
wanting
为
to
希
find a
望多找一
partner,
个伴侣，这个过程之
afflictions
中
and
还
troubles
在
arise in this
产生
process.
的烦恼，很麻烦。
You
要
can't
想
stand
单
the
身光棍儿
loneliness
吧，
of being
又
single,
耐不住寂寞，
so you're
所以
looking
再
for a
找一个对
partner,
象吧，又
but
不
no
符
one
合于
meets
完
your
成自己的
requirements.
各种的需求，啊。
When
那
such
这
desire
个
occurs,
当我们有这个欲望产生的时候，
our
我
new
们的
affliction arises.
烦恼就是新的烦恼又来了。
What
更惨
makes
的
it
是，你
worse
本
is
来
that
收
you
入就
earn
不
little
高，
money,
尤其是一个
especially
男
as a
生，
man.
收入又不高，
You
又想
lack a
找一
high
个
income,
漂
but
亮一
want a
点的，
pretty, svelte
身材
girl
好一点的，
who
吃饭
eats
少一
less
些
and
的，
works more,
干活多一点的，
and
而且还
likes to
不会
save
花
not
钱，只管
spend.
存钱的，啊。 对，
Also,
这个
it's
姑娘她
better if her
妈
mother has passed away.
最好是去世了已经，啊。
Where
到
to
这种
find such a
哪那
girl?
么有啊，对不对啊？这
It's
你不可
impossible to
能
meet
不
all
符
your
合你的心
criteria.
意的。
So
所以
when
当
we
我
have
们有一
desire,
个
even
欲
before
望
we
的
act
需
on
求，
it,
不要说具体的行为啊，当
from
你
the
的
moment
心、
this
你的
desire
意念
arises,
一产生欲和求得的时候，烦恼
troubles
一
ensue.
开始来了。
When
你
you
好不容易
finally
看上一
found
个
your
美女，
beauty and
表
confessed
白
to
了半
her,
天，你说
she
你烦
said,
不烦
"Oh
啊？我的孩子
please,
都
my
3岁了，
child is
哎，这
already
令
3
人
years
失望。
old. How
对，这
disappointing.
是
This is the suffering of
这
not
是
getting
求
what
不
one
得苦，
wants, or
求得
suffering
怕
of
失
fearing
去
the
苦。
loss of what one
其
has.
实
What
是
bothers
困
all
扰人一切
beings,
众
the
生
root
的最
cause,
根本
is
的原因就
desire.
是欲望啊。
In
包
our
括你想
process of
此
practice,
时还
say,
有我们
some
在
start
修
to
行
have
之
Dharma
中，
power,
慢
your
慢的有的人说
desires
有法力
arise.
了。
You've
比如
let
说
go
这
of
一
your
切你都
mundane
放下，我反
pursuits.
正
I
本来就长
wasn't
得很
born
丑，
good
能力就
looking
很
or
差，不
capable.
找对
If I
象就
can't
不找
find a
了。
partner, I'll
啊，
let it be.
好，
This is
这个事
letting
放下
go,
了，
but
另外
other
一个事就来
desires
了，
come.
说哎，这个师兄有天眼通了。
Except
我
for my
除了大小
energy
便通什么都
discharge,
没
I
有。
have nothing. But
我
this
太
brother
生气
has
了，我。
developed divine eye. I'm so mad.
哎，
Your
对对对，你
affliction
就开始
starts.
让自己很烦恼了。本
Originally
来
you're
还算自
carefree
在的，
and
放下
let
那
go
个
of the
找老
wish
婆
to
的欲
find a
望，这个时候
wife.
自
At
己在
that
那待
time
着，
you stay happy.
像只烧鸡一样啊。
But
可
then
是
new affliction arises.
新的烦恼就冒出来了，我
Why
怎么
aren't
不
I
如
as
他厉害呢？
powerful as him? And
尤
this
其是这
fellow
个
Dharma
有点
brother
感觉的这个师兄，他总
doesn't
是
hide his
他不
sensations,
喜欢瞒着事。哎，师弟
saying,
啊，
"Hey, why
我怎
do
么
I
感觉
feel
我手
fire
上冒
coming out of
火
my
呢？
palms? How do
听的
you
人什
feel
么
if
感
you
觉
hear
啊？
that?" So
所
let
以
me
我
remind
警
you
告大
all.
家啊，修
Don't
的
tell
好感
others
觉，
about
轻易
your
别
good
告诉师弟
meditation
们，好吧？
sensations. Be
小心
careful
杀
of
人灭
being
口啊！
killed.
他嫉妒心
Jealousy
就来
arises,
了
fire. I'll
啊！
make you
我
mad.
让你有火，
If
下
I
次在
don't
你
put
坐
a
垫
few
下头，
tacks under your
我
seat,
放几个
that's
图
being
钉就
kind.
够意思了啊！
I
放
may
炸
put
药啊，
dynamite or
放冰
ice
块儿
cubes.
啊，
See,
那
troubles
是不是就
come.
来了？对
Hearing
方听
this,
了烦
the
恼
other
啊，
party is
说者
afflicted.
无
You
心，
don't
听
mean
者
it,
有
but
意，
your
太危
words
险
still
了
hurt. My
啊！
grandfather
这
used to
个
say,
我爷
"Don't
爷
show
说，
off your wealth.
有财不要让别人知道啊！
Don't show
我
off
这
your
有好
good
感觉也别告诉
sensations."
别人，好吧？太危
Okay,
险了。
it's too
哎，因为
dangerous
人
for
的嫉妒
people
心，
easily get jealous.
我们的
Whenever
烦
we
恼
have
只要有
desire,
所求，
afflictions
就会
arise.
有所困扰。
Even
你
our
看，就连
wish to
想我
obtain
想得到和
liberation
解脱，
could
也
put
都
us in
能
agony.
让我们痛苦不堪。
A
1000
story
年前，
happened 1,000 years
在中
ago
国
in China.
啊，
Many
好多中
Chinese
国
have
人
read the
都
sutra.
大约看过的一本经书，
The
叫
Platform
《六祖
Sutra of
坛
the
经》。
Sixth
谁看
Patriarch.
过？举
Raise
手。
a hand if you have
看过
read
几个字
it.
也算
A
哈。
few words count too.
啊，这
Many
个
have
很多
read
人
it
看
and
过，
can
还有很
recite
多人
it
照背如流
fluently.
啊，
It
能背得住。
described
那
clearly
里
what
讲得很
happened.
清楚啊。
When the
他们
sixth
禅宗第
patriarch
5
Wei
代
Neng
祖师啊，
succeeded
传
the
给
fifth
第6
one,
代慧能祖师的时候，
Wei
哎，
Neng
我
was
觉得
fine
本
originally.
来慧能活得好好的，也是
Being
一
a
个山
farmer
野
from
农民
Canton, he He all of a sudden went to
心血
Anhui,
来潮，去到安徽，
looking to study meditation with the fifth
来学习
patriarch,
禅法，
who
他是正宗
practiced
的禅宗
authentic
嘛，
meditation.
啊，去学习禅法。
During
因为他们中
examinations,
间接触啊、考核呀，哎，
he
都
always
是被
gave the
这个
best answers.
六祖慧能 得到了最光彩的答案，
which impressed his master very much. But others
但是大家
thought
都认为
the
在五祖
director and
门下
advanced
其实
meditation
他有个
master
禅
of
学院
Meditation
院长
Institute of the fifth
兼高级
patriarch
禅
should be
师
successor.
都
What
叫
was
什
his
么
name? Master
神秀
Shensho.
大师
Shensho
我认
was
为
a
他是
great
一位大
master
师
too.
神
Based
秀
on a
大
verse
师
by Master
所对
Shensho,
出来的话
the
六祖
sixth
慧能就踩
patriarch
在那
Wei
个肩
Neng
膀上
produced his own
哎
verse
自
that
己
brought
又
him
显得
more
更光
honor.
彩了
But
但是
such
这样的
enlightened
觉悟
wisdom
智
put
慧
his life
引
in
来杀
danger.
身之祸
The
五
fifth
祖大师
patriarch was
也
a
也
great
是一位大
master.
禅师当
After
确定他
deciding
的
on his
传人
successor,
慧能之后
he
告诉
couldn't
慧
ask
能
Wei
的说
Neng to
你
step
哪一
on the
天登
Dharma
法台来
podium
接任
to
不是这样
accept
说
his
的
appointment.
好吧
Instead, he said, escape
跑得越
immediately.
远越好走得越
Otherwise, you'll
快越
lose your
好否则
life.
你小命休也
It's pathetic.
你总不
It's
像我
not
们
what
想
we
象
imagine
的
as
像
described
佛
in
经里描
sutras.
述的那些人站在那儿全
Not
身放着
like
金
those
光看谁敢
radiating
惹是
golden
吧
light,
天
saying,
上
who
地上
dares
唯我
mess
独尊
around?
那种
In
感觉
heaven
怎
and
么
on earth,
正好
I'm
是
supreme. It
背
seemed
道
just
而
the
正好
opposite.
相反
Not a
一
moment
点儿
to
也不
be
光
proud
彩
of.
说
He
你
said,
跑得
you
慢
have
了
to
命都
run
没
for your
了
life.
就这样
Wei
六祖
Neng
慧
ran
能
with the two
拿着师
things
傅给
given
的那
by
两
his
个东西
master.
在
During the
逃亡的路
escape,
上
his Dharma
还被
brothers
他的
chased
师兄
after
弟
him
追杀
and
就差
almost
一点
killed him.
把他杀人灭口
This
我觉得这
sutra
个
was
坛
well
经写得很
written,
好
very
没有
different
像
from those great masters from India.
从印度传过来的这个佛经中所描述的几乎每一位大师除
They
了
were
王子就
princes
是
and
公主
princesses,
今天
suddenly
突然觉
becoming
悟成佛
enlightened
了
and reaching
这种感
Buddhahood.
觉
This
他写得
sutra
很
was
实在
real and honest.
他
After
说
his
觉悟了之后
enlightenment,
不
he
但没
not
成佛
only
差点
didn't
叫人
become
杀
a
人灭口
Buddha, he almost got killed.
哎
It touched the
这是我
truth
觉得
of
这个看到
matters.
事物的真实性
It
那么也
also
同
reminds
时提
us,
醒我们就说你
after
是不
coming
是
to
来修
practice,
行
do you
你
become
就
free
没
of
有
desire and
贪欲
jealousy?
了没有嫉妒了
No, it depends
这
on
分
what
什么事儿
matters. Those
想杀他的
murderers
人
wouldn't kill
也许
nor
从不
even
杀生
hurt an ant.
也许连一只蚂蚁都舍不得打死
They
他们
were
很慈
very
悲的
compassionate. If
啊
they
吃
found a
饭的时候
bug
里
in
面
their
有虫子
food,
哈把虫子拿出来甚
they'd
至
put
放
it
到
on
树
a
上
tree,
就
such
这么慈悲
compassion. But
但
when
是
it
因为
comes to
与觉悟相关的
enlightenment,
事情好哇
okay,
师
if
傅
my master
把
gives
这
the
个掌门
successor's
人的
Dharma
法印
seal
给
to
了
that
这家
guy,
伙了
I'll
我们
kill
就
him,
干掉他
or we won't
我
kill
们不
him.
杀他我们只
We'll
是把
throw
他
him
扔到
down the
山沟里
gully.
去而已
His
至于说能
fate
不
will
能
decide
像
if
鸟
he
一样的
flies
飞
like a
翔起来
bird
或者
or
能不能晒成
falls
肉
and
饼是
becomes
看
a
他的
meat
命
patty.
哎
At that
对到
time,
那个时
they
候才
mixed up
忘掉什
harm
么就是和伤害
and
什么是慈悲
compassion.
了
So in the
所以就
process
是
of
你
getting
就想在
enlightened,
觉悟的这个过程之中
our
其实
attachment surfaces again.
我们所执着的东西重新又会冒起来
So
所以
thoughts like,
就
I
是
feel
想觉悟
great,
今天我的感觉好美妙啊
or
啊
I
我
want
想
to be
开悟啊
awakened
这个
should
意
not be
念
over
哎
pursued.
也不要太过分的追求
Then
我
we
们
can
才
be
能做
serene
到
and enter purity
心
and
安
calmness.
与清净
Only
这个
by
叫
being
无欲
desireless can we
无
slowly
求
reach.
才能慢慢的融入
The
那个
meditative
昨
state
天
mentioned
前天我都
yesterday.
讲到的
What
那个
is
叫
it?
什么
Samadhi.
静来的定静
It's
就
the
是第
fourth
四禅
meditative state.
才能融入到定境。那么
Only
我
if
们
we've
如果
entered
融入过，
or
或者
got
是接
close to
近
this
过定境，
meditative state,
我
can our
们才
wisdom
会
arise.
生出智慧。
Why do we want
为
to
什么
enter
要
this
进入
meditative
定境
state? I
我自
often
己
ask
其实
why
我
about
做每
many
一件事
things,
情都会问我自己，为什么？因为
because such a
定
state
境
can eradicate our
能
many illnesses
了却我们很多身体的疾病，
and
能
rapidly
够
increase
让
our
我们
wisdom.
快速的增长智慧。
The samadhi can eradicate illnesses and increase wisdom. Only after
我们
developing
有了智
wisdom
慧之后，我
can we
们
avoid
才会
troubles and commit
少
fewer
犯错
wrongs.
误，少惹是非。
The
其实最
ultimate
终
purpose
的
is
目的就是，
to
减少
eliminate
了
many
好多
afflictions
好
or
多
be
的烦恼
affliction
或者
free.
是无烦恼。
Being greedless and desireless is the only way to obtain peace.
心安理得。
On the journey of
在禅的道路上，
meditation, only by having no desire and attachment can I avoid being jealous, slanderous, or attacking and destroying things.
是这样的啊。
This level of meditation is labeled
这
4.
个禅法呢，都是用4来决定。
Double
但是在大的
4
禅法之
refers to
中，
more
是
advanced
由2个
meditation,
4加起来的。
say from the
第一段
first level
从
to the 4th.
1级禅到第4级禅，是消
Afflictions
灭
can be
人
eliminated
可
along
以
with thoughts
理解的烦恼，到我们的意念的产生，
that are
贪欲
greedy
啊
and
恶念的
negative.
产生，我们得到了一个控制。但是
These
这
can
个
be
控制
controlled, but
并
not
没有
removed from
彻
our
底地在我
genes
们的基因里
completely.
消除。
Thus, the
所以我
first
们
4
一开始
levels
所
of
修的
meditation
这
are
个
of
4
utmost
层的禅
importance.
法，这4层的禅法是最重要的。
Where we
所以这一
experience
段
the
时间
most,
是
in
让我们
body
身
and
心
mind.
有最多的体会。
In the
以后有
future,
机缘我会给大家讲
I'll
禅法
explain
的
minute
细微之处，
details
每一
about
层禅
meditation.
当中的从名称到细节，而是我们
Also,
要实
only
修
actual
才
practice
能
can
够
really
去
benefit.
领受禅带给我们最大的益处啊。今天
Today,
只
I
是
just
宏观
gave you a
的
broad
那
overview.
么
When you
当
enter
你就
level
是融
4,
入了到第4层禅，
or
而
are
且时
often
常
in and out
出
of
入
it,
禅定的时候，
you
你
may
是
feel
不是
time
说
has
我有一
stopped.
次我有2个小时没有觉得时空的运转？
If
比如
you
说
start
我从
meditating at 10
晚上10
p.m.
点钟开始坐禅，
and
我一
finish
醒
at
来
3 a.m.,
是凌晨的第2天凌晨的3点钟，
you
也
may
就是
feel
但是
only
我
an
的
hour
感觉
has
呢，
passed.
好像只有1个小时，那么
Over
其中
2
有
hours
2
seem
个多
empty
小
to
时的
you.
时间是一个空白期。那
For
么大约
sure,
可以
you've
肯
been
定，
in
你
samadhi
有
for
2
over 2
个多小时
hours.
是进入定静状态。那
Is
么
it
是不是我
true
进
that
入了一
entering it
次，
once
我就
makes us
彻底的觉
enlightened
悟了呢？
completely?
不
No.
是，这
At
个时
that
候就
time,
开始第2次。
the
又是
second
4
4
个禅定
stages of
阶段的新
meditation
开始。
begin.
这个新
Starting
的开
anew,
始
you'll
是
have the
将
genes
一
and
切
roots of all
烦恼的基
afflictions
因和根
eradicated.
源彻底清除。
In
所以
such a
当在
deep
这个状
meditative
态里头
state,
这种最深层的禅定之中，
we'll
我们
melt into
会
heaven or Buddha,
顺着天，或者是顺着佛，
or
或者是顺着
compassion
慈
or a
悲，
nameless state.
或者顺着不知道这个状态融入到那个里面。
It
那个
is
里面也分
divided
了
into
4个
4
层。
levels. I've forgotten the
前3层的
names,
名字
better
我
not
忘
use
了
the
我说
wrong
错了。
ones.
但
Level
到第
4
4 层
has
的时
many
候，有
names.
好多称呼在里头。
In
我的
it,
感觉
we've
就是
reached
我
the
们
core and
到达
origin
了
of the boundless
无边
universe,
宇宙的核心点和宇宙产生的起始点，
or all
就是
things.
万事万物之源。
Such an origin is really hard to describe.
所以那个一句话好难描述啊。
The
但是我
state of
回
my
忆，我现在
present recall
认真的回忆，我那个时候进入的状态，
is
既
that
是一
you
个
feel
起始
the
点，
origin, the
又是一个
core,
核心，
and
又
also the
是
intersecting zero point.
一个好多事物错综复杂的这
Of
样
many
交叉的
complicated matters.
中间的零点。
It's like the way, as named by Lao Tzu. The beginning of the
这个一
world
开
is
始处在这
formless.
无极状态。
This
这个是无极
meditative
状态
state is
之
the
根
root of formless. The
是
cause
一
and
个
source of
整个
universal
宇宙
lives and
生
major
命
matters.
几乎所有的大的事物的一个起因起源点。
It has
我们
various
不同门
names
派的
given
大
by
禅
many
师给它起的
meditation
名字多
masters.
种多样的。
It is a
是无
samadhi of
边处
mindfulness
处
of a
念
boundless
定
place.
嗯
Or, as
甚
some
至叫
Chinese
做
have called it,
那时候中国人不把它叫宇宙这
the
个意
core
思
of
大概是
universal boundlessness,
宇宙无边世界核心
or
还
sacred state
有
of thoughtlessness.
圣境无念处。
Words fail
就是
here.
好像这个词语好难以表达哟。
Because
因为
humans
人类
have
从来
never
没有
been to the
达到过
state.
这种状态，实
It's
在难以描
inexplicable.
述这种感觉，好难描述。
Only
那么，
after
只有走
entering
过
the
了
latter
后
4
四种
stages of
禅，
samadhi does
人
one reach a state which
就
has no
达到了几
hindrances.
乎所有的事物都不能再障碍他，甚至是
A
这样的
person
人
in
存
this
在
state
在
has
人类的世
humans
界
and
里头，
nature interconnecting with him.
人类和自然的世界一边和他相互感应着，也
He's
就是他
also
也
still
会受于
confined
这
by
个
the human
人类
environment.
世界的这个环境的相对的制约，
But
同
at the
时
same time
他
he is
也在改
transforming
变着
those
接近他的
close to
人
him and this
和这个
world.
世界，
His
他的
wisdom and
智
its
慧
energy
还有他的智慧的那个能量
is
也足
great
以
enough to
改变
change the world.
所以
When
当
reaching
达
to
到
a
一个
certain
深
depth of
度
samadhi, or
或
the
者我们不可
unimaginable profound
思议
state
的
of
那个
wisdom,
极深度的智慧状态的时候，这
this
个
person
人
is no longer a human.
这个修行人就不再是人类了。
Usually we
通常我们称为
call him a divine being
神
or a
仙
Buddha.
佛呀，
Very noble
就是反
titles,
正这
not
样子
ordinary
很
ones.
高贵的，不是常人的那种称谓就有了。因为
Because
他的
he
能
is
力实在
extremely
太强，
capable,
这
this
个能力
capability
并不是今
doesn't
天我要
mean
放光，我
he
要
can
放电
radiate
之类的，
light
不
or
是这样。
energy,
他
but
的
his
意识
mind
力就
power
可
can
以
change our thoughts,
让我们的心，让我
mind
们的
and
意识进
consciousness.
行改变。
He
好多的
possesses
能
many
力，
unimaginable
好多
capabilities.
的不可思议的东西，
We can
就
witness their appearance,
我们叫做不可思议的，就看到它的产生，
but
但
don't
是
know how they
不知道怎
arise.
么来的，
It's
像
a
所谓的超
Superman
人那样
state.
子。
It's the
那
state
个
many
状态
practitioners
是
expect to
好
reach
多
and
好
enter,
多修行者最期盼进入和领会的状态，
but
但
it's
是
not easy to
有点
achieve.
艰难，
It
要花
requires
很大的
considerable
心思
effort and
和
time.
时间才能进入。
To enter
进入
this
到这个
state,
状态，在
on the
我小时
meditation
候修
journey
行
of
之
my
中，
youth, many things
好多东西
influenced
在
me.
影响着我。其
4
中对我
Chinese
深刻印
words
象的
impressed me deeply.
有4个字，
I'm
这
still
4个字
slowly
我到现
waking
在
up
还
to
在
their
慢慢的
meaning.
觉悟，慢慢理解。其
In
实每个
fact,
时
at
期
every stage
就会有
here
每
are
个时期对
corresponding
它的感应。
revelations. Do
我也
you
想
want to
知
know
道
them? They
这
are
叫
loving
慈
kindness,
悲喜舍。
compassion,
慈
empathetic
悲
joy,
和那
and
个
giving. It's easy to understand
我
loving
理解不了
kindness
的
and
还有
compassion.
喜，
What I don't
还有
know is
舍，
how
就是
we
舍弃。
integrate empathetic joy and giving into the
是
whole
整个
meditation
融
and
于
even
整个这个
enlightenment.
禅法乃至到觉悟当中，其
The
实很
4
重要的
words are
4个字。
very important.
一共4个字，
Why
为什
do
么在
only
我的
2
脑海里
appear
出
in my
现了
mind?
有2个字，它
In
是
fact, they
就是一
become
个固
3
定的意
things:
思，其实变成3个东西而已。
loving
慈悲是一
kindness
体
and
的，
compassion
那
are
么
one,
喜和舍
compassion, then empathetic joy and giving
这时候
become
变
more
得更重要
important.
了。
To
在
my
我理解
present
呢，
understanding,
我现在这个此刻的理解，我觉得慈
compassion
悲
should always be kept in our
慈悲
subconsciousness.
是我们永远要保持的一个潜在的意识，
An
也更
unending
是
imperative
我
and
们永
constant
远
behavior
所
we
执着的
insist
一个方
upon.
向，也更是我们时时刻刻应该把握的行为。
That
那
is
就
the
是慈
rule
悲，
of compassion. Empathetic joy is a little hard to explain
说不太清
clearly.
楚了。
My
我理解，
understanding
今
is
天你喜
this:
欢的你会欢喜，今
whether
天你
you
不
like
喜
or
欢的，
dislike something,
你讨厌的，
you
你应
should
该
treat it with
用喜
joy.
悦的心去看待它。
Even if a
今天是苦的，
situation
该
is
吃的时候
bitter,
你就
if
把
you
它
are
吃
meant
下
to
去，
endure
还
it,
是
then
用
you do
喜
it
悦
with
的心，
joy.
因为
Maybe
结果
after
可
you've
能吃
suffered,
了苦的，也
your
许你
illness
就
will
病
be
倒了。
gone.
如果跨
Transcending
越时
time
空这样去
space,
看
we
的
should
话，
not be
也不
unhappy.
应该不高兴。今天
Maybe
我
we're
吃的这个
suffering a
苦，
lot
真的就是
today,
苦，没
which
什么
is
欢喜，
unpleasant, yet
也
it is
是
a
难
rare
得的一次经
experience,
历，
and
也
we
应该
should
用喜悦
accept
的
it
心
with
去接受
joy.
它。所
I
以
remember
这
an
样我就
enlightened
想起
man
来，有位得道者，
who was
听
teaching in
说
a
他在远
faraway
方
place.
去教人嘛，教书，
He was
有
brought
人就
news
传
of
信
his
说他
father's
父亲
death.
几天前过世了。
Upon
听完之
hearing
后
it, he
哭了一
wept.
场之后就
Then
开
he
始
started
拍
to
手笑
applaud and smile.
啊，
Why are you
笑什么呢？
smiling?
哎呀，
Yea,
终于走
finally
了。
he left. He
哎，
said
他
to
给
his
他的
friend
谈
who
心的
brought
朋
the
友这样
news.
说，大家就
Everybody was in
都
shock.
愣在那里了。
His
啊，
father had
自己父
passed
亲
away.
去世了，
He
他
said
终于
this.
走了。他对呀，
Yes, he had been
因
suffering
为
for so
重
long,
病
he
缠
was
身，
in
他很
great
痛苦。
pain.
他
Today
今
he
天走了，
left,
不是
but
死了，
not
是
dead.
他到
He
天
went
国
to
了。
heaven. He
他
was
脱离
freed from
开
the
这
pain
个
inflicting body.
让他痛苦不堪的这个肉体，他
He
终
is
于解
finally
脱了，所
free,
以
so I'm
我鼓
happy,
掌欢
clapping
喜
and
啊，
celebrating.
庆贺。
He
所
was
以，因为他
enlightened.
是一个得道的高人，我
It's
们常
hard
人
for
是不可理
ordinary
解的。
people to
如果叫
understand.
我
If
的
I
话，我
were
不
him,
哭，装
even
样
if
的
I
我也就
didn't
哭了。
cry, I would
否则
pretend.
大家都误解
Otherwise,
我，你
I'd
这
be
个不孝子，你
misunderstood,
判
an
妈早
uncaring
死呢
son,
你，
wishing your
对不对？
parents to die
那
earlier.
个人
This
太解
man
脱
was
了，他根本不
totally
在乎这事儿，
liberated. He
他就
didn't
直
care
接
about
心里
his
有啥
image
他就
at
说出
all.
来
He
了。
spoke his
啊，
mind.
大家
Everyone
尽
take
量啊，
note.
注意亲
When
戚朋
friends
友
or
去世了，
relatives
尽量
pass,
不好，
cry as much as you can.
否则连
Otherwise,
个
your
朋友都
friends
没
will
了。
be gone.
所
Thus,
以有时候解
sometimes
脱和人
liberation
情之间其
contradicts
实是有
human
矛盾的
ethics.
啊。
In
解脱
viewing
人看待
matters and
事物
expressing
和
emotions,
表达的情感的时候，
an
和
enlightened
正
person
常的人
contradicts
是
ordinary
有
people.
时候是矛盾体的啊。
You
这个
need
怎
to
么拿
measure
捏，靠
yourself.
你自己了啊。我们
Today's
今天说的
discussion
这
is
个东西，
significantly
都是
related
与你所要进入的那
to
个
eradicating
真
your
正的让
illness
自
and
己
gaining
疾病
wisdom
上
to
而是有
face your
智慧，
life.
面对人生有着最重要的关系，
I
而且也
told
不
you
绕弯子。
directly the little knowledge I
我直
have.
接把我所知道的一点点东西告诉你。但
But
是
if
你
you
要
want to
想得
get
到
to
这
the
个境
state,
界，
you
因为你
need
还
to
没有苦
practice
修，
painstakingly.
这只
This
是
is
朦
just
胧
a
的
rough
介绍，就这么说
introduction.
哈。
An
所以
enlightened
得道者
person
他
can
看到的
possibly
这个
see
事物的，已经可
something
能
that
看
will
到这个
happen
是
next
发
year
生
or
的，
beyond.
来年或者是更长久的一个结果。哎，
Ordinary
我们常人就
people
看着说，
only
哦，
see,
这个人
wow,
去
he
世了，
passed
去世
away.
了，
The first
第一
reaction
反应
is
就
to
是哭，
cry, be
伤感
upset
和
and
舍不
reluctant
得。
to let go. Enlightened
所以，
people
当一
would
个得道
say,
的人看到的时候，哦，他
oh,
去
he
世了，
passed away. They know
因为
of
在之
life
前就
after
想到
death.
他走是到哪里。我们常人
Ordinary
说他
people
死
will
了，死了
say
就是
that
灭掉
person
了。
is dead.
哎，
Death
这不
means
一
being
样啊。
extinguished.
首先从
That's
世
the
界观
difference.
看事物的
Firstly, their
长度
sense
都
of
不一样，
time when viewing matters differs.
所以
Thus,
我们的
reactions and
情感的
expression
表
of
达反应
feelings
也不一
also
样。
differ.
佛
Even
陀
though
释迦牟尼，
Sakyamuni Buddha got
当
enlightened,
他都开悟了，
he
面对
couldn't
他
save
自
his
己的
own
祖国，
country, the
出生
people
他
in
出
his
生的不是
birthplace
他小时候长大的那个城市
were
被敌
slaughtered
国
by
the enemy
杀
country.
进来屠城。
What
屠
does
城是什么
city
意思啊？
slaughter mean?
说
It
你这个
means
小
if the
城
small
市
city didn't
让你
surrender,
投降，如果你不投降，我要杀进去的话，我
it
会把
would be
你所有的人
invaded
全
and
部
all
砍，
citizens
全部杀
beheaded.
死，这
This
叫
is
屠
city
城，
slaughter, a
就屠掉
massacre
这
of
个
a whole
城市所有
city.
的人。
It
这个
happened
在
in many
世
countries
界
in
各
history.
国的历史上都是曾经发生过的，无
In
论印
India,
度、中
China, and
国、
also
欧
Europe.
洲都发生过，不
Not
止一
once
次，
but
若干次。
multiple times.
你
You may
说
say Sakyamuni
佛
Buddha
陀
was
释迦牟尼
enlightened.
觉悟了，让他
Yet to
最
him
痛
this
苦
was
也
still
是
the
最
most
难堪的，
painful, humiliating,
也
biggest
从一个
insult
人
to
来说最
human
大的侮
beings.
辱。你不
Aren't
是
you
觉悟了吗？你
enlightened?
的祖国
Your
都被
own
人杀
country
光
was
了，
annihilated. How
请
do
问你
you
的心情
feel?
如何呀？
I
我不
don't
知
know
道
how
佛
Buddha
陀什么
felt.
心情。因
It's
果，
causality.
所以不
Whether
论
his
他的爷爷、
grandfather or father
他的父亲
had
有没有
destroyed
这样
other
毁灭性的
countries or
杀掉过
not
别的国家，这个
wasn't recorded.
书中就没有记载。
But
但
we
是
can
我们可以
understand
理解的是，那
why
为什
Buddha
么佛陀释
Sakyamuni
迦牟尼
said,
这样说呢？他说
well,
这是
it's causality.
因果呀，说
My
我的
Dharma
法
power
力
doesn't
大不过
surpass
因果，
causality.
有时候没有办法。所
So
以我
whatever
们
we do,
做事、做人的时候，
we
一定
shouldn't
要
care about
不
the
要想
immediate
眼前的利
benefit.
益，不要
Don't
想到
think,
你
if
这个
you
东
can
西
give
给了
me
我
that,
就
I'll be
幸福，
happy.
没
I'll
给
be
我我就
upset if
烦
you
恼，
don't.
没有给我，
If
我
you
想要
don't
的
give
东西
me
你
what
没
I
有给我，
want, I
我不但
won't just
烦
be
恼，甚
upset, I'll hate you. We need to think and see further.
看得更久远一点。
Remember
要想到因果的
causality.
关系。
If you
如果不是
take
你的，你
something
拿
that
了，
isn't yours,
结
what
果
will
如何
happen?
呢？
If
你已
you
经有
already
了，
have
你要再
some,
多
but
拿
you
了，
still take
结果
more,
又
what
如
will
何？
happen? If
你
you
欺骗
cheat
了
on
他，他
him,
不知
even
道，
if he doesn't know,
结
what
果
will
如何？
happen?
对，
Troublemakers
往往
often
就
look
是
at
我们
things
容易制造烦恼的人是看
From
的
the
这
view
个
of a
时
short time
空
frame.
和事件更短一点，从时间上来说看得更短， 从
Or
空
narrow
间来说
space.
看得更小。
Some
今天
real
做
estate
房地产投资
investors,
的，在这
those
个城
living
市
in
里住的人，
cities
光
only
盯着这个
focus on
城
their
市，
city,
就
not
没
the
想到隔
neighboring
壁省
city or
和旁
province.
边的城市，
That
也
may
许
be having lower
它价钱更
prices.
低，
If
啊，
they
也许
buy
你
at a
趁
low
低的时候
price,
买进来，啊，一
they
个风险
reduce the
还
risk.
分散了。这
But
个城市你
housing
买的那个
prices in
房
their
子
own
10年
city
没
have
涨价，
stayed the same for
你还
10
掏管理
years,
费、
and they
保
have to
养
pay
费、
to
修理
manage,
费，
maintain, and
啊，
repair.
可
In
是
contrast,
隔
a
壁的
house was
城
bought
市
in the
买
neighboring
的时候，
city
比如
for
说30万一个房子，
$300,000.
啊，
3
3
years
年以后
later,
已经
it
卖
is
100万
valued
了，
at $1
就
million.
把你在这个城
That
市
investor
投
made
入之后
money
没有收入的这个空缺补回来了，啊，他是
because
看
they
的这
saw
个
more
面更广
broadly and
了，
further
还
in
有时
time.
间更长了，啊，就是
That's
时间和
time and
空间嘛。
space.
可
The
是通常
difference between ordinary
这
people,
个
wiser ones,
普通的凡人啊和有点智慧的人啊，在
and
和
those
更
enlightened
高
with
境界
higher
的觉
mental
悟的人相
states,
比，他
is
们的
about
其
the
中一个
scale
大
of
的差
time
别
and
就是
space.
时间和空间上的大小的差别。所以
So
我们
isn't
看到因果的
causality
时
a
候，不也
matter
是一
of
个时间
time?
问题吗？是不是啊？因果
Causality is a matter of
是
time.
时间问题啊。比如说你
Say,
买了一
if
只
you
股票，
invest in stock trading,
今
you
天
buy
买
in
1
at
块钱
$1.
啊，
A
1个月
month
之后涨
later,
10
it
块钱，
increases to $10.
3
3
个月之后
months
变1
later,
块
it
钱
drops to $1.
啊，
3
3
years
年之后
later, it's
变100块钱。
$100.
如
If
果
one
你知道
knows what
3
will
年之后这
happen
个
in
结
3
局，
years,
没有
one
人
won't
在这
sell
个
it
3
before
年以内
then.
去卖掉它，对不对？所
So
以时空的
transcend
感
time
觉，
space whenever you do things,
你
or
做人做
conduct
事投
yourself,
资
or invest in
做经营，
business.
所
Do
以
you
你的
see
时间
further
看
in
得更久
time
吗？
and
你的这
broader
个
in
环
space?
境的面上，你看得更广吗？
The
对，
longer
看得
and
越久
broader
越广
view
的，可
brings a
能
higher chance
也
of
就是
success.
从输和赢来说，啊，你就是成功的把握会更高一些。
The
但是更
enlightened
高的觉
one
悟者，
just
无非
sees
把这个时
further
空
and
看得
longer
更
in
久远
time
一些。
space. He
啊，
can
看
see
人也
not
不光
only
是
your
看到
present life,
你现在这个生命存在的这个世间的这一切，甚
but
至看
also
你的
your
过
past
去
and
式
future
和
lives,
未来的生命状态，
the
就还没有
ones that
发
have
生过
not
的那个
happened
来
yet.
世，有可能能够追溯到。这个
This
是
is
一
a
种
super
超级的感
telepathy.
应力。有
That
时候
is
我
out
们
of
是
our
望尘
reach.
莫及呀，啊，
We
想知
want to
道，但是
know,
没
but
有
have
多
no
能力知道，
ability.
但是
Some
有
have
人
the
会知道。
ability.
啊，所
Thus,
以
the
也有说
saying,
命运
fate
由
is
天注定这个
predestined,
概念
makes
也
sense.
是有一定的道理的。
But
啊，但
fate
是
is not
命运又不
absolutely
是绝对
unchangeable.
的、一成不变的，是通
Benevolent
过
or wicked
啊
behavior
慈善和恶劣的行为，都
can
是可以
change the
改变
original
原来
life
的
track.
那个生命的轨道。啊，这我
The
们这2
teachings
天
of
讲的
these
这
2
个课程
days
很
are very
很重
important.
要，离我们
References
真
to
正要
our
达到
reaching
觉悟
enlightenment.
当中作为一个很重要的参考啊。
So
所以
it is
并不
not
是
that
今天你
after
来
you
修行，你
practice,
一定
you
能
can
得到
surely
正果，
achieve
不一
enlightenment,
定。
not
你的
necessarily.
时时
Whenever
贪
your
念
thought
心
of
而起
greed
的时候，
arises.
贪
Once
念
your
心一旦
greed
起来
comes,
了，
your sin
你的罪
ensues.
恶就来了。你
Your
那个本
original
来
light,
是
pure and
啊
clean
踏雪
state,
无痕啊那种轻盈洁净的没
will
有污
change
染
right
的那个
away.
感觉，你一
Once your
旦
greed
去执着
arises,
的贪婪，你
your
马上就
legs
变
become
色了，
heavy.
你的腿脚就重了。所
When
以我在
people
看
ask me to
人
see a
就是去
deceased
世之后，
person,
经常有人
Master,
问我，
my mother
哎，师傅
passed
看
away
看
a month
我母
ago.
亲去世1个月了，她
Where
现
is
在
she
在
now?
哪里？
They
无非
want
就
to
是我
know
上
if
天了还
she's
是
in
入地狱。
heaven or hell. I'll
我
tell
这
the
个方
truth
面我
about
不骗
this.
人啊。所
If
以
you
一
want to
看
know
就下去了。你说
where
在
your
此
mother
时
has
这一刻，你
gone,
跟我说你妈去哪了，我看着就
maybe
下
I'll
去，
see she's gone down,
甚至还
even
看
see
到
that she was taken
被
away
某
by
种
an
动物
animal.
给抓着去了啊。有
Others,
的一说
well, I
哇
see them fly to
就飞
heaven,
上去了，真的
as
像电
depicted
影一
in
样。
movies.
我
So
就
I'll
告诉
tell
他，我看到
someone
是
I
上
saw
天
her
了。
in heaven.
所
A
以
light one
轻
goes up
盈
like
的
air.
上升，就像那个空气一样，是吧？
A
那个氢
helium
气
balloon
打到气球里头，
will
气球
fly up instantly,
就
right?
飞起来，对不对？我
If
们
we
用嘴
fill a
巴吹的
balloon
气
with our breath,
是叫
the air
浊
is
气。什么是
filthy.
浊
What
气
is
呢？
filthy
染的
air,
气，里
polluted
面
by
含有
water,
水，
rice,
含有大米，含有小米，还有青
veggies,
菜，还有
turnip,
萝卜，
soup,
哎
and
呀，还
anger.
有饭汤子，还有愤怒。飞起
After
来
we
之后，
blew
想
up the
让它升天都升
balloon,
不
it
了，
couldn't
一会儿
fly. It
嘣
fell
掉下
down
来。
immediately.
所
Those
以
with
身
impurity
上
will
有
go
这
to
种
hell.
污浊的生命是下地狱的。啊，走
They
路
feel
都可能
heavy
感觉
when
到。
they walk.
啊，就是 沉的，所以
Many
很多人
people's
走路
steps
沉
are
不是
heavy.
稳，而
They
是
can't
本来
lift
就
their
抬不起脚
feet.
来着，那
Their
个腿跟
legs
灌了
seem
铅一样。
filled with lead.
所以多
If you
行
do
善
more
事，多
good
修行，
deeds,
多来走八
meditate
卦
more and do more
就能
energy
从地狱里走
bhagwa,
上
you
天
can
堂。
go to heaven from hell.
所以你把
Energy
走八卦
bhagwa
腿
will
越来
make
越
your
丰
legs
满。
lighter.
最
The
关键
key
是
is
我们
truly
真
not
正的我
having
们的
any
精神系统
spiritual
里头
debt.
没有那个债务。
Debt is also
有个
called
业力。
karma. If
但
you
是有
have
那个
bad
业力的时
karma,
候，
though
哪
you
怕你多
practice
走八卦，
energy
但是
bhagwa with
你还是
heavy
贪念
greed,
很重。但是又每天又很勤修的八卦，就
your
是身
soul
体
is
清净，
heavy, the body is
灵
light,
魂
and you
沉
still
重，
will
一
go to
样下地
hell.
狱。
Otherwise,
那否则的话，跳高
high
运动
jump
员是不是死
athletes
完之
will
后一
surely
定
go
上
to
天堂？
heaven after death.
肯定不
Definitely
是，对不
not.
对？天
Flies
天
that eat
吃动物的
animals
那个
can
苍
still
蝇也是在
fly.
飞，
Will
是
they
不是它
go
死
to
完也
heaven
上天
too
堂？
after they
你不
die?
能
We
用外
can't
在来
use the
决定。
external to
我只是
determine
用外在的
spiritual
行
states.
为
We
来决
use
定，
metaphors
来
to
比喻
describe
它的精神的东
spirituality.
西，主要是精神的。
Our
我们的
emotions
喜怒哀乐，
and
还有我
karma
们的
mainly
罪过业力，
manifest
主要是表现在
spiritually.
精神里头。你精神里
Spiritually,
头是
you're
慈悲的，不
compassionate
杀
and do
害
not
祸，
kill.
才是
Caring
真
is
正
true
的慈悲。
compassion.
就
In
是我们
fact,
不论
however
你有多
great
大
your
的修行，
practice
当
is, when
你
you reach
到
a
了
certain
一个
level,
修行的高度，
your
当你
greed
的贪
arises.
欲心一旦产生，
And
其实
thus your
罪过
sin
已
has
经产生。
already occurred.
这
How to
种
put
能
it?
量，
This
这种
energy
能
will
量，
pollute
这
us.
种能量就会怎么讲呢？就是
It's
你
like
看
if the air
我
here
们
is
这
a
个地方
little
的空
dirty.
气稍微脏一点，如果这里的空气稍微脏一点，它
Will
会
it
不会
pollute
污
our
染到我
health?
们的人体？
Please
请问大
answer
家。
me. Don't
所以
think
你不要以
spiritual
为，因
pollution
为这个
doesn't
污染的东西啊，
exist.
我
As
刚才讲，我
mentioned,
们精
where
神的
is
污
our
染是哪里
spiritual
啊？当
pollution?
你一
When
个
a thought
贪
of
欲的意
greed
念开始产
arises,
生的时候，就
your
开始污染。
pollution starts.
它这
This
个污染不
pollution
像
is
一
not
块
something obvious.
比较明确的一个物品就来
Being
绑在
tied
你
to
的
your
身上，
body.
它是像
It's
空
like
气一样，如
impurities
空
in
气里
air.
头
With
有污浊的东
impurities in
西，
air,
我
our
们
clothes,
的衣
body,
服啊，我们的身体啊，还
and
有我们
even
的呼吸系
respiratory
统，
system
自
will
然
be
会被污染，
polluted,
对不对？
right? In
无
whichever
论哪个国
country.
家，我
Once
们的
air
空
is
气一
polluted
旦
and
被
dirty,
污染了、肮脏的，在
all
那
the
个地区生
people
活
and
的所有
animals
的人
living
和
in
动
the
物，
area,
你
their
的整个呼
respiratory
吸系统
systems
都
will
被
be
污染掉
affected.
了。在
If
煤
longtime
矿里常
miners
年工作的人，
don't
如
have
果
a
他
full
的保护
protection
系统
system,
不做到最全面的话，几乎
almost
所有的
all
人
will
都
contract
得
an
一种病。
illness.
请问这个
Anyone
病
know
的
the
名字
name?
叫…… 你
You
们都
all
太
are
聪明
smart.
了，吸
Pneumoconiosis,
肺。
black
我觉得
lung.
吸
Why
肺
is
为
it
啥叫
called
吸
black
肺？
lung?
这
The
个肺
lungs
里
are
面
filled
装满了在
with
空气
dirt
中
and
吸
dust
收的
from
那
the
些
air.
尘埃。
The
最麻烦的
problem
是
is it
排不
can't be
出来。
expelled.
如
If
果
it
到了
gets to
胃
the
里，
stomach and
拌了粮
mixes
食的
with
菜还能
food,
排
it
出来，
might be
但是到了
excreted, but
肺
if
里
it is
头
in the
排不
lungs,
出来，
it won't be
它就
expelled.
能
The
粉尘
specks
很
of
细，
dust are very
跑到气
tiny
泡里头，
and
肺
will
的
get
肺的那个
stuck
泡里
inside
头
air
排不出来
sacs
的。
till
最后
finally the lungs
那个
lose their
肺
function.
就再没有肺的功能了。所
I
以
use this
我举
example
的这
to
个例子是
explain
指，
sinful karma.
当这个罪过业力产生的时候，
It
它分
divides
轻重。
light
所
from
以我们
heavy.
当一个错
When
误的
wrong
意念
thought
和
or
贪
greed
婪的意念
arises,
产生的时候，这
we
个罪
start
过已经
having
开始有
sin.
了。但是
When the
尤其这
thought
个
is
意念
followed
产
by
生行为
action,
在产生的时候，这个
then
罪过
sin
是
is
必然的，
inevitable.
已
We
经开
start
始被
being
污染了。
polluted.
无论多
However
么洁
pure
白的
and
肺，
white the
今天好
lungs
像说
are,
今天
they
一
are
个
just
白白
like
的
our
衣服
white shirt.
啊，
If
有人靠近
100 people blow
会
on
这样
it,
子。当100个人在这儿哈气之后，
the
被哈气的
affected
这块
area
白布
is
这
no
块衣
longer
服，
white.
那里已经不再是白色了。就
It
看那天
depends
大
what
家吃
those
的是什么。
people eat.
如
If
果
it's
吃的是咖喱
curry,
的
the
话，那块
area
变成
turns
黄的
yellow.
了。如
If
果
it's
山东人吃的
garlic
大
eaten
蒜的
by
话，那一块的
Shandongese,
话已
the
经成了
area
大
turns
蒜
into a
膏药，
garlic patch.
这已
It's
经被污
stained.
染了。所以
Don't
不要
think a
以为
wrong
我这
thought
个
or
意念里
desire
头我
isn't sinful.
一个错误一个贪欲就是没有罪过的。意
Your
念里
thought
的
of
杀人
killing isn't equal to a true crime, but the shadow of sin arises.
有一种罪过的影子。
This is how it works.
是这样子啊。
This part of the teaching guides us on how to achieve ultimate liberation, not just freedom. Some said, what is meditation? Meditation is freedom. This is also right. Then what is freedom? Not being bound. How not to be bound? If we go further, it's don't be greedy. Without greed, we reduce many things binding us. Everyone else is greedy but not me. This may be the true start of awakening and
真正的
enlightenment.
开始开悟和得到。
The
所以修
practice
行路
path
上
is not different
和
from the
人世
worldly
间没有什
one.
么差别。罪
Where
过是
sins
相等
committed
的
are equally
如果
serious.
知
If you know something is a
知
sin
罪
but still do
犯
it,
罪的话，会
what
怎么
will
样？
happen? Sin doubles.
罪加一等。
On
所
the
以在修
practice
行路上，
path,
很
many
多人
people
当
commit
修到
sin
半路之
halfway.
后，
When
当
wealth,
财
sex, and
色
interests
利
arise,
益产生的时候，他去
they're
贪执的
greedy.
时候，
The sin
就
doubles.
会其实是罪上加罪，会
They'll
沉下
sink to
去
hell.
啊。所
Thus,
以
a
要时时
practitioner
的
must always
一个修
remind
行人来说，
himself.
时时的提醒自己。最
However
好
busy we are,
无
we
论
must
多忙的修
practice.
行人，都是要修行才行。
We
一定
must
要坐在那
meditate to
里去
contemplate,
思考，去清净，啊，时常让
purify
自己
and
的
calm our
身
body
清
and
净，
mind.
意念清净，才可能有行为的清净。啊，所
With a
以意
purified,
识的
calm
清净，
mind and consciousness,
身体的清净，
we
才
can
可
have
能有
pure,
行为
calm
的清净。
action. If you
所以
want
想
to
达到
achieve
真
true
正行为的
behavioral
清净，
purity
一
and
定要修
calmness,
啊。
you must
不
practice.
修是
It's
可怕的。
horrible not to practice.
不
If
修，
you're
如
a
果作为一
practitioner
个
with leadership power
有
who
引
doesn't
导力的
practice,
一位修
especially
行
a
者，
great
一位大
meditation
禅师的
master,
话，
you'll
会
harm
害了一
people.
方人。因
Your
为你
mental
你的
state
境
gets
界
stuck at a low
就是
level.
卡在那里是低的，
You
而没
won't
有思考
consider
怎
how
样
to
提升。
elevate.
修
Before
行
you
还
have
不够，
enough
就已
practice,
经
your
有傲
pride
慢。
has arisen.
那
Then
傲
it'll
慢之
be
后，
hard
就
for
不
you
可
to
能再
learn
有
and
学
revere.
习的恭敬之心，就
You'll
会
deviate
落
from the
入
path
歧
and
途，
mislead people.
误导大众。在
In
这
the
个机构里有
organization,
上
you'll
欺下
deceive
瞒。
superiors and delude
就像
subordinates. It's like
我
the
们刚才
story
讲
of
到
1,000 years
1000年前
ago,
的那个故事，啊，这
that of the
个
sixth patriarch
六
Wei
祖
Nang.
慧能的故事，是吧？去
Those
劫
who
杀
went to
他的
kill
人
him
肯定
had
是没告
surely
诉他
not
们大
told
师
his
傅，
master.
肯定不会告诉的呀。他
They
是
were
犯罪
committing
去
a
了，他好意思
crime.
告诉师
Why
傅？
would they tell the
肯定
master?
没有。
Definitely
所以
not.
这也
These
是
were
他
his
们当时
important
重要的弟子。
disciples.
但
When
是
an
重要的
important
弟子当
disciple doesn't practice
不去认真
conscientiously,
来好好修行，
and
把
he
握
can't
自己的
properly
意念
control
的
his
时候，
thoughts
就是
and
他自己的
mind,
心智不能得到最好的把握的时候，他
all
们
with
都
a
是有
practice
修行基
foundation,
础的人啊，同
he'll
样还
still
会
commit a
犯
killing.
杀人之罪啊。就
This
因为这
caused
个
Wei
原因，
Nang to reflect.
让六祖慧能反思。第一个，
First,
他
he
不
dared
敢，
not
他没
teach
有胆
Dharma
量出来传法，因
for
为被人
fear
追
of
杀。
being killed.
第二个，可
Second,
能
his
师傅也嘱
master
咐他了，
reminded him, You
你
have
有悟
insight,
性，
but aren't
但是
enlightened
你还没有
yet.
真开悟。
He
他所
wrote a
说的那
poem
首诗，那首结语是
that was
踩在
based on Master
神秀
Shensho's
大师的
verse.
肩膀上那个结语。就是说
Essentially,
菩提
neither a
本无
Bodhi
树，
tree
明
nor a
镜亦
clean
非
mirror
台，
does
本来
exist.
无一
Originally,
物，
there was
何处
nothing.
惹尘
Where
埃。
would dust
这个概
persist?
念
His concept is
是
empty.
虚而不实的，也
With
就是
no
说没有基
existence
础
or
的。
foundation,
人家
Master
这个说出来，他
Shensho
马
just
上去
expressed
借用
his
这个词
practice
去反攻
progress.
了对方，
Immediately,
让对
Wei
方
Nang borrowed his
没有
words
脸
to
面。
fight back,
五
embarrassing
祖证
him.
明
The
他的
fifth
说是有
patriarch
悟性，
approved his awakening.
但
But
是
there
离
was
真
still
正
a
的
long
大
way to
开悟
supreme
还
enlightenment.
差得太远。
In
又成
Buddhist
了六祖
history,
慧
Wei
能和
Nang's
佛教
life
历史上最
experience
大的一
became
个
a
讽
laughing
刺和笑
stock.
话的是，他
Upon
得到这
becoming
种
the
传
successor,
承和认可之后，在
he was
半路被
chased
师
and
兄弟
almost
劫杀，
killed
他
by
没有
his
被
Dharma
杀死。
brothers.
可
Later,
是
he hid
他
in his
逃到
hometown mountain forest
他的家乡的深山老林里头，
and
成为
became
了
a
猎人
hunter.
当中的一员。佛教
Isn't
不是讲
Buddhism
慈悲
promoting
吗？
compassion?
可
He
是他
couldn't
又不
even
能
go
回家去
home and
当
be a
农民，活
farmer,
在村
fearing
子
to
里
be
头，
killed in
害
the
怕被人
village.
杀掉。
He could
所
only
以他躲
hide
到
in the
深山里，
mountain.
深
How
山
could
里
he
走
earn a
谋生
living
嘛，
in the
就
mountain?
和
He
猎人在
stayed
一
with
起。
the
要
hunters.
和猎人在一起，
Being
你
with
不可能
hunters,
说
he couldn't
我念
say,
佛你
I'm
打猎，
chanting,
肯
you
定
go
不让的，
hunting.
你变成吃白
Impossible.
饭呐。你们
Isn't
说
his
是不是个讽
experience
刺？
contradictory
是
to
不是个
Buddhist
矛盾？
teachings?
我
It's
觉得
because of his
正是这样，
experience
才成就了六祖慧能
that
后
Wei
来
Nang
的
achieved
更
more
圆
perfect
满的觉悟。
enlightenment and wisdom. Though
你
he
一个
was
慈悲的
already
心，但是
compassionate,
也
his
让你认识
circumstances
到
made
这个
him
世间生命
realize
的
that
存
in
在的
this
本
world
身
the
其中
ignoble survival of humans
众生要付出生命的代价，
relies on the sacrifice of many lives. The tiger's existence relies on numerous cows and sheep. Cows and sheep are unwilling to be eaten by tigers, but they have no choice because they can't beat them.
就被它吃掉。
This is natural law. Buddha Dharma has to follow natural law while upholding all compassion. Survival of the fittest has to be followed. Within this fundamental law, we practice all compassion. Has my talk bored you? What is this about? Good. Thank you very much. What I'm talking about today will benefit those with some practice foundation. Originally, we were just meditating or practicing the GI in full prostration for what? Health and happiness. Maybe you haven't practiced, or have practiced for 3 years. It doesn't matter. In the 4th year, maybe you'll come and ask, "Oh Master, the old illnesses were all cured. Why has a new one arisen?" This is one type. Another one, "Master, I've started practicing. Why is my family still against me?" Or, "I've done so many good things. I'm still practicing. Why was I fired from my job? Why is my spouse still fighting with me all the time? I should become more auspicious through practicing." If you ask me about these situations, I can't give you a one-sentence answer. After you practice diligently for 3 or 5 years, will those mentioned cases still happen? What do you think? Yes, even if your marriage and your boss are fine, will your children be as nice as you wish? Not necessarily. Maybe they are like the Monkey King, troublemakers for their parents. Only Buddha could capture and control the monkey, putting him under the mountain, right? Afflictions still exist. What should we do? Practice hard and understand matters with wisdom. It takes time. We haven't truly eradicated our karma, past sins, our cravings, and sins that may come at any time. Though you're lucky to have entered the 4th level samadhi, the realm of form, which is an empty, calm state where nothing exists. Does it mean all your karma has been eliminated? No. You still need to go deeper. To pass through another 4 levels of samadhi, to eradicate all aforementioned problems. Then your mental state is steady, will not regress, sink or do wrong things. Of course all you do is correct, but may be perceived as wrong by sentient beings, but in the eyes of the heavenly way, you're absolutely correct. You won't do wrong. In history, meditation was divided into 4 or 8 levels. Why are 4 levels of samadhi also called 8 stages, or 8 entrances of samadhi? Reaching the first 4 levels, we think we've got to the destination. Not yet. Continue practicing. From that high level, start again and proceed to the 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th level. After getting to the 8th level, all are pacified and calm. Your energy and wisdom will be beyond ordinary people's comprehension. The concept of going to hell or heaven after death is of low level. The highest mental state far surpasses the realms of humans, demons, and the gravity of earth. You've already gained an eternal life. Few lives in the solar system can compare with your energy. It's such a state. To all true practitioners, don't forget to practice. Don't forget the reminder from this teaching. that it's greed from which many afflictions arise.
好多的烦恼都是由贪而起。
How to counteract greed? Greed can be in many forms. Spiritual greed and worldly greed. Greed for fame is more severe than greed for money. Use opposite actions to counteract it. In the 6 perfections, the first action is learn to give, and then learn to tolerate.
学会布施。
Not only are we not greedy for others' things, we also give. I mentioned the 4 essentials: loving kindness, compassion, empathetic joy, and giving. With these 4 compassionate behaviors, we can become peaceful. How to be compassionate? First, learn to give, so we're not greedy. A giving person never wants your money. Because if he has money, he'll donate. Whenever necessary, he'll give it away. He won't rob or steal from anyone, or get gains from corruption. That's impossible. Second, learn to tolerate. Wise people of high mental state understand this truth. There may be humiliations behind glory. Your present humiliation may become huge glory in future. So calmly face humiliations, glory, insults, reproaches, and gossip. Many staff or practitioners in our meditation centers may say, "Wow, life at this center is very complicated. Human relationships are too complex." Or some say, "I start crying when I come here. I thought everyone here was Guanyin Bodhisattva, but after getting to know people, I see many aren't virtuous. For this reason, we come and practice. If we were virtuous, we'd fly to heaven. That's why we come to practice." Your expectations are too high. Use your usual mind to accept. Insults, mocking, or gossip. If you can't pass this test, you still soak in the sea of suffering. Your mind will never be powerful or grow. You're narrow-minded. This narrow-mindedness is the root of fatal diseases. Our heart of jealousy, slander, and destruction is created by narrow-mindedness. Be broad-minded. Accept others' gossip. We should accept others' criticism. Accept with joy, then ponder. If the criticism is right or not. If right, we correct ourselves. If your negative karma is light, why would people complain about you? It could be you've hurt others, so people complain. Criticizing you is actually nous, for they take you as a Dharma brother. Strangers may fight with you, but we just don't understand this. We still feel annoyed at others' criticism. We don't repent, we feel annoyed. Isn't this unwise? Your brain is for taking in information, which also causes afflictions. If we practice well, we can face afflictions with our usual mind. In our practice, we must heed our experiences, obtained through our 5 sense organs and consciousness.
几种觉受就是通过我们的五官和意识感受到的东西
Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body and mind are for sensing.
那么它能感受到的东西呢，眼
Form, sound, smell, taste, touch and mind object.
声香味触法
Each of the 5 sense organs has a function. Our tongue tastes tasty, sour, sweet, bitter or spicy. Our
人眼
eyes
睛
see
看到的这东西是好的，是美的，
beautiful or
是
ugly
丑的
things,
啊，或
or
者
the way
是
we want things to be.
是我所喜欢的那个样子的啊。
Our
听的
ears hear
听的
praise,
是赞美啊，
criticism, or
还是批
gossip.
评啊，还是闲话呀？
Our
我
senses
们
bring
这
us
些
such
身体的
stimuli,
感官系统啊，也
which
带
is
来
a
我们这
test
些
in
刺
our
激，
life.
其实正是我们人生的一个考验。 所
So
以
we
为什
need
么
to
我们
go
经
through
过
the
这个
4 or
四
8
禅
levels
八
of
定
samadhi,
禅
the
的
deep
深
meditative
层状态
states.
时，也可
One
以称为
state
叫
is a thoughtless
无
state,
想。
thoughtlessness or no thought.
无想的无想，哎，
The
我
original
回忆
words
起来
are
那个原话叫
samadhi
非
of
想
no thinking and no
非
no
非
thinking.
想界定。
It's
那个好
truly hard to
难以理解啊。
understand.
就
There
是
is no
连想的意识
consciousness
都
of
没有，就是
thinking,
我
which
所
is
说的
why I
假
named
死
it a
状
fake
态。
death state. I
就
only
是我
enter
根
such
本
a
不
state
想，我
without
才能
any
进入这个
thinking.
状态。只有
After
进入这
such
个状态
entrance,
之后，我
we
才
can
得到更
achieve
大的
greater
智慧。
wisdom.
所以
When I
我
assess
看
a
到这个事，
matter,
我就
I'll
知道
know
它
the
的结果，哎，
consequences.
我
I
不
won't
贪
be greedy.
啊。
If
今天
something
看
looks
是一个很
beautiful,
很
but
美
it's
的一个东
actually
西，
bad,
哎，我
we
们
can
会想到它
perceive
的
it'll
结果
become
是
a
如何。
poison.
其实
Once
我
we
们
reach
当
that
达
level,
到那样的一个境界之后，我们的
our
智慧自
wisdom
然
will
会产
arise
生
naturally.
啊，就
We
会
can
看
see
到
the
这个
truth
事
of
物
matters
后来的真相，
and
跨越了时
transcend
空
time
感觉的真
space.
相啊。所以
Of
我们
course,
当
we'll be
然我
pure,
们就
calm, and
心
at
静自
ease.
在了。
The
越是
more
只有
we
这
are
种
in
心静
such a
自在，我们
state,
才
the
越觉
wiser we are.
啊。有人
Some
会
may
担
worry
心，
since
既
we're
然我是
desireless,
无欲无求，那
our
我的生
lives will
命岂
be
不是
plain and
平平
boring.
淡淡就过去了？因为
Because
这
we're
种无欲无
desireless,
求，
should
我
we
就这样
just
持
die?
续吗？
This
那是修
indicates
的
you
不够，
haven't practiced
修
enough.
好了
If you
之后，
have, you'll
你就
influence
忘
the
了我所
world.
讲的了。没有
People
修
who
的人
don't
是被这个
practice
世界
are
改变和
changed
修
and
理，
influenced by the
啊，
world.
对不对？你
How
是有
many
多
are
少人乐
willing to
意
be
接受别
directed,
人的指
man
挥
or
啊？
woman?
无论男女，小时候你都想的是做自己，我是指挥别人的人，对不对？那后
Later
来是
on,
觉得
we
不
have to
得
work
已
for
的情况下，
others.
我去打工了，对不对？打工的
Working
概
for
念，我
others
替老
means
板
working for the
在工作，
boss,
是不是？
right? Many
有
just
多
wish
人
to
说我
find
一
a
到年
job
轻，
to
我就想
do,
找个工作
that's
就
it.
算了。这
Such
种人也
people
有啊，但是
exist.
多数
Many
人都
want to
想
be
让自己飞
prosperous
黄
so
腾
they
达
can
去指挥
instruct
别人。
others.
可是
But
为
why
什么
did
后
you
来
have
你
to
要去
work
打
for
工呢？
others?
做
Being
老
the
板真的
boss
不
is
容易。
not easy. The
你把东西2万块钱
$20,000
因
your
为想做
mother
老板，
gave
它
you
变成
became
零的，
zero due to your wish to be
没
the
有了，
boss, so you had to
我
work
不
for
得已不打
others.
工了。想
So
达
if
到
you
那
want to
个
reach the state of
智
wisdom
慧
and
的状
liberation,
态、解脱的状态啊，这个不断的
non-stop
修行
practice is a must.
啊，就摆在我们的面前。
The
但是在
process
修
of
行的过程之
practicing
中，
is sometimes
有时候
wonderful
是
or
很美
boring.
的，有时候是很无聊啊。但
Be
是
it
在这
wonderful
种
or boring.
不管觉得美妙还是无聊之
If
后
you
的经
reach the
历，
4th level samadhi,
如果是达到第4层禅之后，第
What
4
will
层
happen?
禅定的状态之后，会发生什么呢？
the
所以
first 4 levels
我们一
train
共
us to
8
be
个
free
啊
from
，8层禅
afflictions.
定。好，前面1、2、3、4前4层，在训练自己脱离烦恼对我的束缚。
The
后面
latter
4
4
层
levels
是
are
后
to
面的4
increase
层
our
禅定是
ability.
增长我的能力，去
Change our
改
fate
变
and the world.
我的命运和改变这个世界，它是这样子的。
The first part is
前面
about
是改变
changing
自己，后面
ourselves.
是
The
改变
latter
世
is
界的
about collecting
能量和
energy
智
to
慧的
change
积
the
蓄。
world and develop wisdom. What will happen to those reaching that level?
当修到那个境地的人，好
I
像
taught 3
这个我们一共
sessions.
3堂课嘛。好
In
像
the
第一堂课
first,
我
I
讲到
talked
一
about
种
a prophetic
比较高的
power
境界，
called
叫
golden mouth and jade words.
金口玉言。啊，
Guess
金口
what
玉言，
miracles it can
大家猜
create?
猜金口玉言都能造出什么奇迹来呢？就是
Say,
哎，
I
我
want
想
to have my favorite
今
meal.
天吃一个我爱吃的饭。因为你
Please do
前面
remember.
大家千万记住哈，你在
Early on
之
in
前
your
修的过程之
practice,
中都是
you
没
have
有
no
欲望的，
desire
没有
and
追
crave
求的，我
nothing.
任何事情不贪，对不对？但你
One
有一
day
天你
you're
都觉悟了，
enlightened.
难道
Will
你还
you be
贪婪
greedy?
吗？
No
不
more.
贪婪。所以
So
不
in
贪婪
such
的
a
状况下，你
desireless
只要
state,
有所
whatever
求，
you
就
hope
一
for will
定
manifest.
会显现有。所以
This is a
大
great
的
practice
修
state,
行的状态是叫做
called turn
练
non-existence
虚
to
幻时
existence.
弄假成真。
or practice for real from fake. The final result is golden mouth and jade words. You can do anything. Whatever you wish to achieve can be realized. To other people, it looks impossible, even more difficult than going up to the sky. Once you have such practice achievement, all becomes easy for you. Why can you change the world? Due to your practice achievement. So practice is not this, since the state is desireless, I escape from the world and hide, free of greed, desire and pursuits. Is this the end? No. Actually, we should be stronger and more powerful. Why? I want to corner myself and ask, why am I able to do anything? Because we have the 4-word secret, right? Tell me which 4 words? Loving kindness, compassion, empathetic joy and giving. You are my real students. This is JinBodhi's 4-word truth statement, loving kindness, compassion, empathetic joy and giving, because our practice is based on compassion. Always be compassionate. If we can't change the world and are incapable of helping others, this compassion will be meaningless, it'll be ridiculous. All have been cheated. Many practitioners think, after practice, I'll have a beautiful figure. Thus you'd become more greedy, right? Once ladies become more beautiful, more men will pay attention to them. Many want to get a beautiful body. One day you realize, although your 3 body measurements are the same as before, you don't have many admirers. You say, I am still myself. Why did you abandon me? Actually, your body hasn't changed much. Your midsection has grown bigger. Your facial muscles are weakening. You're abandoned in this way. In fact, you're still pursuing something. You want to attract the opposite sex's attention, or praise and envy from the same sex, right? Some say, I dress myself up, so others will be jealous. A beautiful lady told me that she thought so. Why should you think so? You've had 4 surgeries to have double eyelids. Why are you so concerned about your eyelids? Half of her husband's salary is spent on her face and skin. Life is not easy. The most difficult thing is not how to make money or find a spouse, but control our emotions. They're invisible, yet the hardest thing to control. Such restlessness is very difficult to control. You look peaceful, but inside you could be filled with a storm, fire, battles, feelings and rage. So it's easy to lose control. Being a human is not easy. Thus, I give these teachings to those with some meditation foundation, so they can be wiser and reach a more advanced life state. This doesn't refer to becoming monks or nuns, marrying, divorcing, or having children but not wanting to raise them. Absolutely not. Rather, it refers to how we see further with wisdom and see through ups and downs in life. Once you're enlightened, or even after you've heard my teaching, you'll see and act differently. Yesterday, before you heard my teaching, maybe you were in a rage, but after you heard me today, today's anger could be tomorrow's happiness. You may be smiling at your angry husband. Are you done? Come on. I've made some fire-cooling soup to put out your fire. Your husband may say, you admit you're wrong. You reply, I've already repented 1,000,000 times. That's why I've cooked the soup to put out your anger. I can guarantee his anger will be gone. He'll be sleeping soundly after drinking your soup. You've subdued your husband. No more
过
argument.
去你们俩吵完之后，说你像
Before,
疯子一
you
样
were both
像
like
不像
drunks
醉鬼
after
一样
fighting.
就是
Love turns to
从
hatred.
爱变成恨所以我们有
Wise
智慧的
people
人
avoid quarrels
尽量
as much as
避免吵
possible,
架，好不
okay?
好？但是有智慧的
Sometimes
人有时候
wise
适当的
people
也吵
quarrel when
有
appropriate.
时
They
候也
lose
吵，就控制
control,
不住，
right?
是不是啊？这样
It's
秀才
like
遇
when
上
an
劫匪就
educated
很麻
person
烦。
encounters a
有一
robber.
个夫妻俩人以后
Troublesome.
找
So
对
when
象
you
结婚的
find
时
your
候，最好两
spouse,
人
you'd better
要
have
斗个
common
墙头走，
interests.
是不是啊？
I mean, have similar
要
mental
那个境
states.
界相同才可以，好吧？哎，很类似。否则你喜
Otherwise,
欢
you
他
love
喜欢错的
fragrant,
两
he
人就打
likes
起来，就
stinky.
矛盾哈。要
Quarrels
很
and
合理。
conflicts
所以门当
arise.
户对的概
Well-matched
念，
marriages
要不
not
光是
only
经济
refer
的
to
不同，
similar
其实
financial
是你修
status,
养
but
的不同。
having like
两个人修
upbringing.
养
With
很类
like
似，
upbringing,
才
they
能说到一
communicate
起，
well
才
and
能有
have
共
common
同的语
language
言
and
来讨论。
interests.
矛
With
盾
less
会少一
conflict.
些。给大
I
家
try
引
to
导的
give you
是
some guidance on
禅修
meditation
乃至
and
到
how to
觉
reach
悟
enlightenment.
最上面的这一块，挡
Your
住大
wisdom
家
and
的
vision.
一切智慧和视觉的那一层天。你
Are
看到这
blocked
层
by a
天，你已经
layer
把
of
你挡住了。
sky.
但是经
After
过这
these
3
3
天，
days of
我个人
teachings,
认为，我把
I've already
这个
opened a
天当
door
做一
in the
扇门
layer
给
of
你打开。
sky.
你
Whether
能
you
不能
can
走得
step
进
through
来
it
就看
depends on your fate.
能不
Whether
能
you
走
can
得进
enter
来，能
and
不能
go
走得
further
下
or
去，
not.
是
It
看你
depends
的
on your aim.
目的。你的
What
目的
is your
将是什么
aim?
呢？
I
我
hope
希
all
望
beings reach
一切
true
有缘人
liberation.
能走向一个真正的解脱，不
No
被
longer
烦恼、
suppressed by
痛苦乃
afflictions,
至人生
pains, and
打
blows in
击，
life, or
把你给
constrained
压
by
制，
worries,
不要
and
被
people
烦恼
around you.
和你周围的人把你绑死，让你更
Instead,
有
you're
智慧，
wiser,
更加
more
睿智
sagacious
的
to face
去
life,
面对人生，
and
更加
more
有自控力的
self-controlled
把握好自己
in
的
your
一
behavior
切
and
行为，
emotions.
更不要说情绪了，
We
一定要
must
学会
learn
把握。
self-control.
这个
All
学
this
会
can be
都在
obtained
禅
through
之中，
meditation.
都在禅之中。要
If
想
you
做
want
一
to
番大
achieve
事业，
greatness,
我们
practice.
修行不
Practicing
是
doesn't
放弃了
mean
人
we
生，
give up
不
our
做事
life
业。
and
哪
career,
怕你是一
even if
个
you think
自
you're
认为没有
incapable.
能力的人，如
If
果
you
好好
keep
修下去，
practicing, after
修到
reaching
第
the
4
fourth
层禅之
meditation
后，
level,
你
you start
就开始
changing the
改变世
world.
界。我就
I've
认识
known
很
many
多位，
such
包括一些
cases,
菩提弟
including
子，
some Bodhi
当年他
disciples.
自
They
认为是
thought they
弱
were
者，
incapable.
自己
They
从
lacked
自信心、
confidence,
能力、知
capability,
识、
knowledge,
体
or
能都是
stamina.
不行。也有很多
After
人
they
修的就是
practiced, they
不
not
但
only
行，
did
而且能
well, but
做很
also
多事情，
achieved
能
many
做帮
things,
助别
and
人的
did
事情。
things to help others.
当然
Of
这些
course,
还
this
不
is
是
not the
最终
final
点，这只是
destination.
修
It's
行之
only
中
a small
中
stop
间
on
的
our
一
practice
个小
journey.
小的驿站而已。修
There
行
is
路
still
还
a
很
long
久，
way to go.
所
Our
以
first
我们
stage
从
Dharma
第一
teaches the
大
most
期
basic
禅法来说
methods,
给大家的，其实
benefiting us physically and
都是
mentally.
最基本的，利于身体到基本心灵的最简单的初级法。但是到
Level
3
3
级之
class
后，
teaches great Dharma of
其实
compassion
学习的是慈悲的、利
to
益
benefit
众
all
生、利益
beings and
社会的
society.
大法。那么这
Such
样的
Dharma
法才
helps
能
us
更
live a
能彰
meaningful
显
life.
我们这一生一世不庸庸碌碌的度过那么怎
Then
样
how
才
can
能
we
最快
quickly
速的达
achieve
到那
that
个境界呢？
state?
只有
Diligent
好好修。
practice is the only
这不同的
route.
高
We
度
ascend
或
to
者是用
different
高度来比
altitudes
喻
of
不同的我
spirituality.
们心灵的高度，就
As we climb,
自然会有它不同对
our
人世
views
间
and
一切
visions
万
on
事
all
万物
matters
的那
in
种
the human
看法
world
和
will
视野一
change
种改变。
naturally.
我们
If
如
we
果
live
住
on
在
the 100th
100层
story
楼
of a
上，
building,
或者
or
相当于
stand
那
on
么
a
高的楼
mountaintop
上
of
那个
equal
山顶
height,
上往
and
下
look
看
down to the
你生
village
活
or
的村
city
庄和
we
城
live
市
in,
一
the
定
view
是
will
大
be
不一样，
entirely
对不对？
different, right?
请
May
问
I ask, does the perspective
它
expand
的那个
infinitely?
广度，我们看我们生活的这个城市的广度是不是无限的变大了，对不对？对。好，
How
那
about
如
if
果
we
我们
stand on a
站在
20,000-meter mountaintop,
2万米的高山顶上再
looking
看
down
你
at
的
your
家乡
town?
呢？
The town would look like a
它
map
就
to
是一个
you.
地图而已，你
You
更能
wouldn't
感
see
受
your
到
mother
你
nagging,
妈在唠叨你爸
your
在抽
father
烟喝酒
smoking or
你
drinking,
奶奶
your
在打麻
grandmother
将
playing mahjong,
你
your
邻居
neighbor
翻白眼
giving you
了
dirty looks or your boss
你老板丢
criticizing
给
you,
你啊，你觉
you'd
得
feel
我已
like
经
I've departed from
离
this
开
world.
人世间了，就
You've
离
transcended
尘
mundane
脱俗
life.
了。所以
When
当一
one
个修到
reaches
那
that
个
high
高境界的
level,
人的时候，他
one's
看事物
view
就
is
是这样
like
的。
this.
类似这样的形象的，我
What
看到
we
的不
see
是
is no
我这
longer
个
the stuff in
家
our
门口
house
或
or at the
房子里的
door.
东西，
our little world. If it's 7 p.m. now, the sun has already set. But if we're up 20,000 feet, has the sun still set? It starts setting at 9:30 p.m. If you aren't afraid of sunburn, keep standing up front. The sun will be shining on you for 250 hours without setting. It all depends on your height. Thus your mental state's altitude determines your life's status and quality. If you have such elevated wisdom and vision in life, your life achievement will be much greater. Or, things could go this way. Reaching that level, you don't want to do anything. There could be such people, but my 4 key words are always driving me. Let's review them again. Loving kindness, compassion, empathetic joy and giving. Compassion is the boss of my heart. Because of compassion, for sure, we'll achieve enough wisdom and ability so as to do great things and dream so big in this life. To counter our bad habits, start with minor things. I want to give a bit more of a hint. Where should we start in order to achieve? We just mentioned the 6 perfections. Let's review again. Greed causes our biggest sins and afflictions. How should we cure it? By giving. We're still vain, so we must be tolerant. We often can't accept others blaming, scolding, deriding, or pointing out our faults. We're unhappy and can't bear it. These actually aren't real insults. Humiliation is illusionary. Whether you believe it's true or not. Do your mental states make others praise and respect you? If you've been humiliated, that means you aren't good and perfect enough. So how do we conquer our vanity? We must be tolerant. Not easy. Whether it is your boss, parents, friends, classmates or family members who are expressing criticism, dissatisfaction, or different views, we should first learn to accept and be grateful, as they're caring about and guiding us. Those who truly hate you would be happy if your mistakes get worse. They wouldn't correct you. Think about it. What is the third one? Keeping precepts is mainly about controlling our behavior. We discipline our behavior to change our consciousness. Anything related to greed, desire and hatred, we should learn to manage well. Less greed, harm and indulgence in desire are ways of keeping precepts. The most important part of keeping precepts is no harm. Do no harm. Instead, we should love and protect all sentient beings with gratitude. Also, we know sentient beings are living beings, right? Then what about this table, this cup? Are they not living beings? Will we love them? We love them. We should care for and respect everything in the way we respect nature. Normally we regard flowers and plants as living beings with a life cycle. This stone doesn't seem alive, as we aren't wise enough to perceive its life. A piece of rock is also a living being. Wood that makes a table has a new life as a table, a new function. So we should respect, be grateful to and protect it. For myself, I treat everything and all matters with reverence, even with awe, and love and protect them. The clothes I wear last a long time, though I wash them frequently. My clothes and shoes don't wear out quickly. To all we use, including what we consider beautiful, be respectful and grateful. Love and protect everything with awe. Don't say, "This is nothing," don't kick the rock in your way, because it's you who is hurt. Aren't you silly? You'd kick the table leg whenever you're unhappy. The table won't feel the pain, but you do. The leg of the table is still fine, but your toe may be fractured, right? Some say, when I'm angry, I like to break things. If you have such a person in your family, hand him the most valuable thing. I guess that'll be the last time he breaks stuff in anger. Some who break stuff when angry buy cheap stuff. All the stuff in their house was on sale. A big pile is worth $10. Of course the loss is of possessions, but what you truly break is your loved one's hearts. We have to manage our negative, greedy and ignorant behavior, so we can become wiser and more perfect. Now we're entering a world of no thought and no thought. The starting point of the universe. I want to help you. Expel all your illnesses and afflictions. I remove your illnesses, afflictions and skin spots. And the stiffness created. By physical and mental bad karma, because of sinful karma, your body is stiff and heavy. After it's removed, you'll feel relaxed, soft and light.
柔软轻盈。
May you all be pure, calm and carefree. Got it. Auspicious and happy. Got it. Thank you, all. Thank you, Master. Thank all Buddhas, all deities for their protection. I hope all the karmic bonded practitioners practice more diligently and vigorously. Thank you, all.